Tom Brady or Joe Montana? Who's the real GOAT? That's the NFL debate that refuses to die.
It's Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Brady built a 23-year dynasty, piling up stats, rings, and records like no quarterback before him.
Joe Montana, look, stop it. You got 3 MVPs and you're still complaining about a lack of a 4th?
Montana? He was flawless on the biggest stage, turning precision and clutch play into an undefeated Super Bowl record. 2 very different styles, 2 different eras, but both shook the league in ways nobody else has. Today we're stacking them side by side, championships, stats, comebacks, durability, all of it to find out who truly deserves the title of greatest quarterback ever. So quickly hit the like and subscribe for more NFL stuff, and let's find out who the real GOAT is. Can rings decide the GOAT? When you talk about greatness in the NFL, the first thing fans throw out is rings. Joe Montana and Tom Brady both built their legacies around championships, but in completely different ways. Montana went a clean 4 for 4 in Super Bowls. 4 trips, 4 wins, 0 losses. He never cracked under the bright lights, and he walked away with 3 Super Bowl MVPs along the way. That kind of perfect record is why old school fans swear by him. Now Brady's resume looks almost unreal. 7 Super Bowl wins, more than any player in NFL history. Add in 10 total Super Bowl appearances, and it shows how often he had his team knocking on the door. He collected 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Another all-time high? Sure, he lost 3 big games, but the sheer volume of wins and appearances is staggering. No quarterback has ever sustained that level of dominance for 2 full decades. Here's the twist. Montana was flawless when he got there, while Brady piled up more rings than any franchise not named the Patriots or Steelers. So what matters more in the GOAT debate? Perfection in fewer tries, or longevity with unmatched hardware? Think it's simple. Just wait until you see the next set of numbers. Who threw more and smarter? When you stack Tom Brady and Joe Montana side by side as passers, the numbers tell 2 very different stories. Brady rewrote the record book. By the time he hung it up, he had thrown for an astronomical 89,214 regular season yards, the most in NFL history. That's almost like throwing a football from New England to Los Angeles. On top of that, Brady's arm delivered 649 career touchdown passes, another record that stands head and shoulders above the pack. His passing volume wasn't just good, it was flat out historic. Now, Joe Montana's totals look smaller, 40,551 career yards and 273 touchdowns. But here's the reality. He played in the 1980s when teams leaned heavily on the run game, and defensive rules made passing far tougher. What Montana did in that era was groundbreaking. He turned the 49ers West Coast offense into a passing clinic, piling up 35,142 yards and 244 touchdowns in San Francisco alone.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone.
Efficiency, accuracy, and timing defined his game. And then there's playoff production. Brady shattered postseason records with 13,400 passing yards and 88 touchdowns, numbers that might never be touched. Montana wasn't far off in his time, ranking among the all-time leaders with 5,772 postseason yards and 45 touchdowns. So who wins here? Brady owns the volume crown, no doubt, but Montana's throws often came with a precision that shaped modern quarterbacking. That means the debate doesn't end here. Who was sharper when it mattered? If you want to talk about quarterbacks at their most dangerous, you can't just measure yards and touchdowns. You've got to look at efficiency. That's where the GOAT debate gets interesting. Tom Brady, across more than 2 decades, posted a career passer rating of 97.2, a mark that puts him in the top tier of all time. That's not easy when you've thrown over 12,000 passes in 335 regular season games. His balance of touchdowns to interceptions, paired with his steady completion percentage, kept him among the NFL's most efficient passers, even deep into his 40s. Brady never just racked up stats. He played a clean, smart game that kept mistakes low while still producing at a historic level. Now look at Joe Montana. His career passer rating of 92.3 doesn't look as high by modern standards. But in the 1980s, when defenses could hit harder and secondaries were allowed more contact, that number was gold. And when the stage was biggest, Montana went from gold to platinum. In 4 Super Bowls, he delivered 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a record 127.8 passer rating. That's surgical precision. And his 1989 season? It was legendary. Montana completed 70.2%, posted a 112.4 rating, and in the playoffs, spiked that to 146.4 with 11 TDs and no picks. So who's sharper? The Iron Man who stayed efficient forever, or the assassin who never missed under pressure? That's the real quarterback puzzle. Who went the distance? When you stack Tom Brady and Joe Montana, the difference in career length jumps out immediately. Brady's NFL story stretched over 23 full seasons.
Among the last 6 picks taken, a familiar name if you're a college football fan, Tom Brady.
Beginning as a 6th-round pick in 2000 and running all the way to 2022. Think about that. 2 decades plus, 3 different eras of football, and he was still winning playoff games in his mid-40s. He retired the first time after the 2021 season, then came back for one last ride, finally stepping away for good at age 45. That kind of longevity is unheard of for a quarterback, let alone one still producing at a high level. Brady wasn't just hanging around, he was racking up records and competing for championships right until the end. Now, Montana's timeline looks shorter, but no less impactful. He logged 16 NFL seasons from 1979 to 1995, including 14 years with the 49ers before finishing out with 2 seasons in Kansas City. Injuries cut into parts of his career, but when he was healthy, he was the definition of dominance. 4 Super Bowl titles and 2 MVP awards all came within that window, proving he didn't need a marathon career to carve out a lasting legacy. So here's the question for you. Is the GOAT defined by a career that redefined longevity, stretching success across generations, or by a shorter run of absolute peak brilliance that changed how the position was played? That's the clash of eras, and it keeps this debate alive. Who was the bigger game winner? If greatness is measured in wins, then Tom Brady and Joe Montana both built careers that scream success, but they did it in very different styles. Brady is the definition of sustained winning. Over 23 seasons, he collected 251 regular season victories, the most by any quarterback in NFL history, and the only player ever to pass the 200 mark. That's dominance across 2 decades, spanning 2 franchises and multiple generations of opponents. And when it came to the postseason, Brady shifted into overdrive. He stacked up an unbelievable 35 playoff wins, more than double what most Hall of Fame quarterbacks even manage in playoff appearances. He also holds the records for most home wins, 116, and most road wins, 93, as a starter, showing he could dominate anywhere, Foxborough, Tampa, or hostile territory. Brady wasn't just good, he was automatic. Montana's numbers look smaller in volume but are no less impactful. His 127-65 career regular season record means he won nearly 2 out of every 3 games he started. In the playoffs, he went 16-7. And remember, he never lost a Super Bowl. 4 appearances, 4 rings, all built on clutch drives and ice-cold execution. Late in his career, he even carried the Kansas City Chiefs to the AFC Championship, proving his winning DNA traveled with him. So, what do you think? Is greatness measured by sheer totals and record-shattering numbers, or by a career where every big stage meant perfection? That's the beauty of this debate. It's not just about wins, but about how you win. Who redefined too old at QB? Quarterbacks aren't supposed to last forever. Most hang it up in their mid-30s, maybe sneak a year or 2 longer if their bodies hold up. Tom Brady tore that timeline to pieces. Brady didn't just play into his 40s, he dominated. He wasn't just showing up, he was still putting up monster numbers. On January 1st, 2023, at 45 years and 151 days old, he became the oldest quarterback ever to throw for 300-plus yards in a game, and even cracked 400 yards that same season. That wasn't a ceremonial farewell tour. He was carrying an NFL offense at an age when most athletes are long retired. Brady also holds the marks for the oldest quarterback to start a Super Bowl and the oldest Super Bowl MVP, both at age 43. The longevity is almost unreal. Joe Montana's career tells a different story. He wrapped up at 38, stepping away before testing those late 40s limits. His greatness came from peak performance, not pushing the clock. So which do you value more, the Iron Man who stretched excellence across decades, or the legend who blazed out at his sharpest? Who turned game over into game on? Great quarterbacks win games. Legendary quarterbacks steal them back from the jaws of defeat. Tom Brady and Joe Montana both lived for those moments when the crowd thought it was over. Brady stands at the top of the mountain as the NFL's all-time comeback leader. He owns the record with 46 fourth-quarter comebacks, edging past Peyton Manning and cementing his reputation as the quarterback who never panicked, no matter the score. Add in 58 game-winning drives after trailing by double digits, and you see why defenses dreaded leaving Brady anytime on the clock. His masterpiece? Super Bowl 51 against Atlanta. Down 28-3 in the third quarter, Brady orchestrated a 25-point rally, the largest comeback in Super Bowl history. That night didn't just win him a ring. It sealed his place as football's ultimate closer. Montana's resume isn't padded with the same totals, but his moments are equally iconic. He logged 26 fourth-quarter comebacks, and when he struck, felt magical. On December 7th, 1980, Montana led the 49ers back from a 28-point halftime hole against the Saints, the biggest comeback in NFL history at that time. And then there's his legendary 92-yard march in Super Bowl 23, capped by a perfect touchdown pass to John Taylor. So here's the clash. Brady built his name on volume and consistency, while Montana crafted unforgettable comeback masterpieces. Which flavor of clutch do you crown as the greatest? Who didn't just win games, but collected awards like trophies? When it comes to measuring greatness, championships tell one story, but the individual hardware? That's where you see how a player stood out in his own era. Tom Brady and Joe Montana both stacked shelves full of honors, but they did it in different ways. Brady is the definition of award overload. Across his legendary 23-year career, he was selected to the Pro Bowl 15 times, the most by any quarterback in NFL history. He also brought home 3 NFL MVP awards in 2007, 2010, and 2017, spanning a full decade between the first and last, proving how long his dominance lasted. Add to that 5 Super Bowl MVPs, a record that may never be touched, plus 3 first-team All-Pro selections and 3 second-team All-Pro honors. When it came to being recognized as the best of the best, Brady wasn't just in the conversation, he was the standard. Montana, meanwhile, put together a resume built on concentrated excellence. He earned 8 Pro Bowl selections, landed 3 first-team All-Pro nods, and won 2 league MVPs in back-to-back years, 1989, 1990. He also led the league in completion percentage 5 times, showcasing his trademark precision, and topped passer rating twice. So what's the edge? Brady's unmatched pile of awards across 2 decades? Or Montana's razor-sharp run of honors in a shorter but iconic prime? Who stayed ready year after year? Durability isn't glamorous, but it's the backbone of greatness. Tom Brady turned it into an art form. Over 23 seasons, he started 333 regular season games and 48 playoff games, both NFL records. His streaks of consecutive starts stretched past 100 multiple times, broken only by rare setbacks. For more than 2 decades, his teams never had to question if quarterback 1 would suit up. Brady was always there, healthy, sharp, and delivering wins. Joe Montana's career at 192 games looks shorter, but every appearance carried weight. He faced tough injuries like his 1986 back surgery and later elbow problems, but each comeback reinforced his legend. That same year, he earned the NFL Comeback Player of the Year award, showing he could return from the brink and still dominate. Still, those are 2 greatest quarterbacks, with 2 different legacies sparking one debate that never fades. Brady proved what longevity, dominance, and an unmatched resume look like. Montana showed us what perfection under pressure really means, going undefeated when it mattered most. One stretched greatness across generations, the other defined an entire era with surgical brilliance. Both rewrote how we see quarterbacks forever. So, what do you think? Who's the real GOAT QB? The Iron Man who stacked rings or the assassin who never lost the big one? Don't miss the next touchdown. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and check out another video right here.